Hello guys, it's me Aradhagopal Nepal and it is my next video about the remaining API which I'm going to explain in these videos. So let me open the browser and if I go to 120 Swagger, so this video will be a short video where I will explain verify OTP, set password, resend OTP and the same things applies for these verify OTPs, set password, resend OTP. So let's get started with this API, verify OTP of register controller. So as you can see, this is the method signature. In request, it asks for verify OTP request. It asks user for email and OTP. It will do its proper validation, and I've already explained how I have managed these strings. After that, it will call an service named verify OTP service. So these things I have already explained, so I'm not going to explain in depth. But as you can see, it is asking for user, and if there is no user in our database with the email user have passed, it will throw no user from that username error. So we can try it ourselves here. If I do it, try it ourselves, and if I go aradhyagpt@ymail.com and I will enter OTP as a string, it will show this error: no email available in our system. And this scenario is handled from this if else condition. After this, we get the user and then we are doing this kind of checking. Okay, so at first we are checking OTP is correct or not. It will call this method. I've already explained what this code is doing in previous video, and verify OTP. Yeah, it's verify OTP. And if OTP is so, there's something which want to have in attention of you, that is there is a service named block user service. So if I open SQL shell of PostgreSQL and go inside scripting fitness and select everything from fitness for, as you can see, there is something called wrong attempts in my table schema. And if if there is a email name Aradhya and I enter random OTP, as you will see, for aradhya@gmail.com, the wrong attempt is 1. And if I execute it, it will say invalid OTP and the wrong attempt became 1. So guys, there's something wrong with this code. Let's figure it out. Basically, it is also opposed to repo.save user kit. So there was one error. So as I've already said, I am explaining my project and I'm also doing a testing of my system whether it's working or not, and I just find out there is a bug. And when I hit this API again and look, every time I do a wrong attempt, I will get this exception invalid OTP and my wrong attempt keeps on increasing. It's 8 right now, it's 9, it's 10, and on And once the wrong attempt reaches at 10, what happens is that wrong attempts get resetted to 0 and each block till will be set. That means this user is blocked till this time period. If we look into the code, we can see that there is a two code which is handling this kind of things. When I click OTP is correct, if account is locked, I've already explained this I think in previous video, but if account is locked, this is user details of Spring Boot implementation, and we have overwritten this method, and in this method we are implementing this logic that if a account is blocked, then this flag will be false. After that, there's a two things. So if OTP is valid, we will remove all of the wrong attempt with user app. So what I mean is that let's actually send an OTP. Okay, resend OTP. one@mail.com. So if I try to send OTP for this user, I will get this kind of exception. But if I try another user, are the one@mail.com, are the two, and OTP will be sent to the user. Right now for other two, the wrong attempt is 0. If I enter OTP and write it to n, at first let's try wrong attempts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The wrong attempt for other two is 5. But if I enter correct OTP, guys, what is happening, guys? So I will debug this later, but one thing I want to, I don't know what is happening in the end result, but in code, what guys, yeah, this is supposed to work, eh? Or I think, oh guys, I forgot one thing. So if I enter OTP here and execute, it say OTP verified successfully, and if I look into this user are the two added open.com, the wrong attempts get updated to 0, and that's what these code do. If any attempt of a user to register is wrong, or if OTP is not valid, it will block the user. Okay, for 9 times it will keep on increasing the wrong attempts, and once the wrong attempts reaches at 10th, it will set wrong attempt to 0. Basically it reset the wrong attempt and set a user block till 12 hours, and after that there is remove all blockage. That means once user is blocked for 8 times, and in the ninth time if user enter correct credential, we unblock the user and set all of the value to 0 or null, so that next time if mistakenly he or she enter wrong credential, then his account won't be blocked because just before he or she did the correct attempts. So that is what is happening on verify OTP. After that we got set password and resend OTP. So in set password we are basically asking for email, no, which we have already seen, and we are getting just detail. We are checking OTP is correct. We are checking the same logic which I have explained previously. But this time, if OTP is correct, we are setting the password. So in set password request, we are asking for email, OTP, password, and all of these fields are validated using Spring. And if everything is okay, we are encoding the password using password encoder application config. We are using this password encoder to encrypt the password and saving the password inside the user entity. That means the specific row in the table. And here we got repository.save. This will save the user, and in this way we are successfully setting password for the user. So this is about saves. After that we got this send OTP. And one thing I need to draw attention is that in the this is the set password. Okay, this set password returns the same response, authenticated response, which login controller also returns, because after user is registering, the set password is the final screen which user have to perform. And in my application I want user to be navigated to the home screen after they successfully get registered, instead of navigating them to the login screen. That's why in log after login and after set password, I'm sending the same response to the front end in order to navigate to the home page. So guys, one things I need to so I was in set password, okay, and I said that the response of set password is exactly the same of login password, because I've already explained that it helps to auto login user from successfully register to the home screen. And one thing I found really annoying is that most of the QF finds it as a bug, and I have to defend them. Just imagine, for user experience, you have just entered your email, you have just entered your password, and in the middle process you have also entered your OTP. And after doing all of these things, okay, you have done all of after doing all of these things successfully, you just entered your password, you are again navigated to the login screen, and the app is asking for your password again. This is completely useless, and it's a very bad user experience for the user. I believe is that after user successfully sets the password, they must be navigated to the home screen instead of login screen. And some of you might say that it helps in security, but sorry guys, come on guys, how it helps in security if you navigate user from to login screen after registration successfully, because they have just entered their email and password, and still we think that they are not a secure user. It doesn't make any sense. So I highly believe that when all of the registration steps is completed, the backend must return the same response which is being returned in login. So in login, this is the response we are getting: access token, refresh token. In set password also, this is the response the front end guys is getting. Due to this response, the front end guy can handle both scenario in the same way. And regarding code, so I've called service dot, okay, set password, and it will do all of these things. And another thing in the register is that verify OTP, send email to password, set register password. Okay, if we look at a set register, we are calling a generic method named set password. This generic method is used both for forgot passports set password and registered set password. Okay, this is generic method, and register is a wrapper around this generic set password method. This set password methods, you know, I gets the user, do some validation, block or unblock user, and if everything okay, sets the encoded password. And the wrapper which we are using in the register, gets the user object from this set password and create access and refresh token, and then finally returns this value to the in the response of the API. This is the register, and in verify OTP there is something. uh, so this is regarding this, and the final API which we got is recent OTP. So as you can see, this is the recent OTP, and we are finding the user, and finally we are sending the OTP here. And I've already explained what this code do, how it check on block, and if the and let's say I send lots of OTP. So for now, what I have done is that in email service, I just blocked sending OTP so that I can just get OTP directly on the console. If I send OTP again, so there are lots of blockage which I have implemented here, which allows us to limit the number of times a user is sending OTP. I've already explained this code in previous video. So this is the flow of register, and in forgot password also we got the same things. So there is a forgot password, and I could have made this forgot password and this recent OTP as a same API because they both have same request. So look, I could have also made this recent OTP and this recent OTP as the same API, but I didn't did it because I've added a new flag on OTP, user OTP, user OTP, that is purpose. So for register the purpose is register, and for forward password the purpose is forward password, and purpose makes sure that any request from forward password and register don't interface with each other. But I could have asked the front-end guy to send me purpose, but I believe that it provides a bad experience to the front end because controller is a presentation layer. So this API is just represent the smooth flow of register, and this API represent the smooth flow of forgot password, and you just need to pass and all the values which are required in forgot password and nothing else. Let's say in the future for register we for this recent password we also need to pass or ref id id which we get after it, and then we got purpose. So if let's say I had created this kind of request, and in forgot password the ref id was not required, it was only required for register, then we need to pass ref id as null. And look, it create lots of confusion. Okay, mistakenly in purpose I could have sent register. you know there are lots of coupling in the code, and it just make the code complex. It makes the front end complex. So I decided to create a separate controller for register and forgot password. Now explaining the API of forgot password, these two API does the same thing. Forgot password and recent OTP. Forgot password controller, as you can see, they send OTP to email, finds the user, and call this generate and send OTP. This code we have already discussed. So these both are doing the same thing, and we got verify OTP, and it calls this method which we have discussed before. It's a generic method which is used for both register and what forgot password. Just there is something called purpose which is separate, which separates these two API, and the purpose separation is handled in the controller. The presentation layer makes sure that the UI The in APIs are as easy to understand to the consumer as possible because it's a presentation layer. And finally, there is a set password. It is a generic set password method. The register password used to call this set password, but for forgot password call this set password. and and right now, as per my app, after forgot password set password, user is navigated to the login screen. And I don't know why I might change this logic in future, because I might think that user has just done his forgot password, they must be navigate to the home screen directly, or they must be navigating the login screen better. I might do the my own user experience test, usability test. But for register, I highly believe that user must directly log into the home screen, and we backend need to provide all of the details the front-end guys needs to navigate a user to the home screen. So this is the reason for forgot password. I am sending void in data. I am only sending the message. So this explain all of the API which I have made on forgot password. Since forgot password was exactly similar as register, it's nearly the same API. So let's meet in another video. So actually what happened is that I created this three video, okay, but I forgot that my screen were not recording. Need to do is that this is what a user, this API and this API do two separate tasks, and they both had different purpose, and I separate. And this current API, okay, this current video is me recreating this video which I have already created, so it is a little bit annoying. So in next video I will explain the login and user API. This user API, this login API, and I will also explain the config, okay, this config. So the title of the next video will be authentication and authorization setup in my project, and let's meet in next video. Thanks for watching.